What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Bullshot Darts. So this last weekend, I was in Virginia Beach for the Virginia Beach Classic, and going into this weekend, I've been in a slump, so I wasn't sure where my darts were going to be. I was hoping I would be able to pick it up for the big tournament, but my darts got even worse, and I was just getting destroyed in the first round of every single event. So my frustration was just building up at the beginning of the weekend. I just couldn't find my game. And it came into the singles cricket, and my cricket game has been pretty decent lately, so I was hoping I could turn that frustration and anger and use it to motivate me to shoot better. And it worked a little bit because I ended up making it to the finals where I got to play Danny Lauby. But in the finals, I got completely embarrassed. Danny threw a 6.9 against me and just wiped the floor with me 4-0. And it was at that point that my frustration just boiled over. I couldn't take it anymore, and I absolutely lost it. Danny was on the stage getting interviewed while accepting like his 8th title of the weekend. I ran up on the stage, I took the microphone from them, and I said, Danny, I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish in a second here, but I just need to say that Ed Chambers is the greatest darts player of all time. And then I Will Smithed him. I used my left hand because I did not want to injure my dart hand. And from there, I got kicked out of the venue. I got arrested. And thankfully, Danny said he's not going to press charges because the embarrassment that he gave me on the dartboard was punishment enough. So that's how my weekend ended. Now I'm home, so I'm going to get into more detail this weekend in a second here. But first, guys, if you're new and looking to get better at darts, please make sure that subscribe button, drop this video a thumbs up, and check out that darts improvement playlist down there. And also go head over to bullshotdarts.com where you can grab some Bullshot apparel. So obviously, none of that stuff happened. That was just a weird dream I had last night. No, I'm just kidding. I love Danny. I love Ed. I was just having some April Fool's fun here, telling a stupid story, and yeah. So before I get into this video, me and Danny actually did play in the singles final event, and he Will Smithed me in that because he did whoop me 4-0. I'll get to that match later on in this video. I had a couple other good placements, but before I get too much into that, I just want to give a huge shout out to everyone that was involved in running this tournament. This was the biggest tournament I've ever been to as far as the amount of people there, and it was ran absolutely perfect. It was incredible. You couldn't have asked for a better ran event, so huge shout out to everyone out there in Virginia Beach that made this event possible, or this whole weekend possible. And also too, for the future, if you've been thinking about maybe going to this event sometime, but maybe you just don't feel that confident enough in your darts to go, it's worth going because it was only $100 a night for the hotel, an oceanfront room. Every morning, we got to wake up to the ocean, the sun coming up, and it was just incredible. So even if, you know, you might not have the confidence in your darts to play these big events, it's worth coming because it's just an awesome vacation. So highly recommend this tournament in the future. If you've ever thought about going, definitely go. Spread the word about this tournament. Alrighty, let's get into the results of this weekend. So the first event was the Cricket Pro Shoot. That was on Friday morning. I was really excited for this event because I was a seeded player, but I was also really kind of interested in this event because this is the first time I've ever gone into an event as a seeded player where I had to play a qualifier. You know, I've been seeded before, but I was playing another seeded player. So this was my first time playing a qualifier in the first round. And it's just such a different kind of pressure going into that situation I've never felt before because all the pressure is on the seeded player in that first round. Because, I mean, there were amazing qualifiers that came through, and a qualifier made it to either the top 4 or the final. So, I mean, I'm not bashing the qualifiers, but, you know, it's expected, you know, the seeded player should win against a qualifier. So if the seeded player wins, it's just like, oh, that's what's expected. But if you lose, then it's like, oh, you lost to a qualifier type thing like that. And I've been in a qualifier situation where I came through as a qualifier and I was able to do really good in the first round because you don't have any pressure on you. You're a qualifier. So I've beaten, you know, a couple big names in CDC events as a qualifier. But I was able to pull through. He shot really well. But his consistency was kind of like this. I was able to stay a little bit more consistent and get the win. So yeah, it was a really fun match. Like I said, I mean, it was a close game. I think I beat him 3-0, but like, if you were to see the games, it was much closer than a 3-0 win. And from there, I went on to play Gary Mawson in the next round. And I was excited for this because me and Gary met in Vegas. We were partners in the blind draw. So now, like, you know, we know each other and stuff. So, you know, we got to talk and have a little fun, and our match was just awesome. He beat me 3-1, but this was another one of those situations where the scoreboard does not do the match justice because he took it to me really good, but I was hanging in there every single leg. Like, he had to work for those wins, but I just couldn't do enough. I would get a little leads here and there, but he would always have one number that he would just smash. So like anytime I got a little lead, he would smash whatever number he needed to dominate that lead and then back close. So I was able to fight, but he still got me 3-1. We had some fun after the match, just talking and stuff. So can't be mad about losing to Gary. Shot decent and just came up short. So after that, the next event was the blind draw on Friday night. I got paired with Nicole. I don't remember her last name, and I don't even know if she would want me to say her last name, but she shot great. And I was really excited for this one because our first round, I threw a 120 average in 01, and I think like a 4 something in cricket. And she was hitting really well too. So obviously, I wasn't going to be able to hold on to those darts for the whole tournament, but I was hoping that I could at least, you know, throw well the rest of the tournament. The next round, I fell off. My partner was hitting some huge darts, but I just couldn't help her out. We ended up losing to Kevin Luke and his partner, and it was still a good match. I'm pretty sure we won all 3, but anyways, we ended up losing in the second round of the blind draw. So that's it for Friday. Saturday starts up. It's the mixed triples is the first event in the morning. And it was me, Trevor, and Liz. And mixed triples is such a weird event. I feel like no one really throws great in mixed triples. And that's kind of what happened with us. Is that none of us could all be consistently well. So we were just kind of going like this. One of us would hit like a ton. And then we would have a couple 40s in there. So it was just a lot of ups and downs. And Liz took out the first 3 doubles that we had. And it was just kind of funny because me and Trevor were just like, yeah, we're not hitting doubles, so double duty is all you. And she was just smoking the double, so it was great. We won our first round, and then the second round, we played some of my buddies up in Wisconsin, David, Jeremy, and Tammy. And they shot really well. And we ended up losing. And my doubles have been such a struggle lately, and my doubles is what lost us that match. Jeremy went up there with 126, went trip 19, and missed the double 6. After that, I'm coming up with 36 left, 3 clear darts at it. I have to take out that out. Jeremy almost hits his double. So now it's on me to take out this 36. And I miss all 3 of my darts. So that's kind of just the way my doubles have been lately. They went up the next round and took out that 6. So we got bumped in the, I think it was the second or third round of mixed trips. But, you know, they're my friends, so I was happy for them. And they shot really well. So yeah, not upset about it. After that, we go into the singles 501. And with my doubles being a struggle, I was really interested to see where this was going to go. And my first match starts, and my scoring was really good, and my doubles were hitting. So I was getting really pumped up after my first round, and I ended up making it to top 8. But getting there was really weird because in multiple matches, I would go up 2-0 in a race to 3. So I would go up 2-0 with like an 85 average, but then my darts would just fall off and my opponent would come back and tie it 2-2. And then now going into a sudden death leg. That happened multiple times throughout this event. So that, you know, that was a bit frustrating, but, you know, thankfully I was able to still get the wins. But I need to be able to start hot like that. But more importantly, I need to close out these matches. So that's something I definitely need to work on in these upcoming tournaments and stuff is, you know, I've always been pretty good at starting strong, but it's the finishing strong is where I struggle. So that's where I really need to turn it up. And it's funny, in the top 8 match, I played this guy Patrick, and the reverse happened. He went up 2-0 on me, and then I came back and tied it 2-2. So we were at 2-2. I was sitting at 177. He was sitting on 91. It was my throw. I go up there, trip 20, single 17. So I leave myself 4. I hit the 137 to leave myself 40, and he's on 91. He throws at the triple 17, misses, hits a single. So he's sitting there with 74. He decides to throw at the triple 20, and he hits it. So he hits the triple 20, he walks a little lap like around the dart area, and then he comes back and he's looking at that double 7, and he nails it. Oh, that hurt me because, you know, I had that great setup shot, and he just went such an unorthodox way. But the thing is, I don't blame him one bit for going that way, because he's expecting that I'm going to take out my 40, my next shot. So he's going to do everything that he can to leave himself at least one dart at an out. And he was scoring really well on those triple 20s. So who cares if it's a double 7 that he's going to leave himself? He just wants to leave himself a double. So he was comfortable on that triple 20. He hit it, left himself 14, and got the win. And it was so funny because he hits that double 7, and he turns around and just goes like this. So he throws double 7, and he turns around and looks at me and just goes, and he's just sitting here staring at me with his arms out like this. I have my hand out like this, like trying to shake his hand, but he's just standing there staring at me like this. Almost, he was like, embrace me. I mean, he didn't say that, but, you know, that's kind of what it is with his arms out. And, like, at the time, you know, I was just kind of sitting there like, I'm like, what's happening? And then, like, we shook hands and talked and everything. But now, like, looking back on it, it wasn't hilarious to me at the time because I wasn't really thinking about it. It was just like, oh, man, I lost. Like, shake hands and go. But looking back on it, oh man, it was so funny. And he was a really cool guy. I got to talk to him a little bit more throughout the weekend. But so that's how my singles 501 ended, on a double 7 after a 137 setup shot. But it is what it is. I was hoping that I could really get that win, obviously, to keep advancing in the tournament. But also, the next round I would have played Jason Brandon, and Jason Brandon is such a great dart player, and I think he went on to win the 501 singles, and I just really wanted to throw against him. I see him around a lot pretty much everywhere I go now, so I think it's inevitable that it will happen eventually, but I was really hoping that it was gonna be that day. But so yeah, singles 501 top 8, was happy with that. After that, me and Trevor played doubles 501, and I'm pretty sure we got bumped in the first round. There's not much to say there. We both struggled, so, I mean, yeah, we just got bumped right away. Sunday morning, the first event is the singles cricket, and this is the event that I did make the finals against Lauby, and I was excited for it because, like I said, I've been practicing my cricket game a lot, and I was going into it with a much different strategy than I usually do. And the thing is, I didn't throw the best darts necessarily, but I was basically throwing just enough to win. So, like, wherever my opponent was throwing, I was always just a little bit better. So if my opponent was throwing like a 3-0, I was throwing like a 3-3. If they were throwing like a 3.8, I was throwing like a 4.0. So I didn't have much consistency. My darts were basically reliant on where my opponent was. So, I mean, I guess that's good because, you know, I was able to get the wins and stuff, but same thing. I need to be able to be consistently shooting those better darts. But yeah, so that was good. Some really good battles in there. You know, the thing with cricket, it's more of, you know, a battle as opposed to a race. 501's more of a race, where cricket can be more of a battle. So had some really good battles making it to the finals. So yeah, cricket was awesome. And I played Seth Stefano in the semifinals, and I was really excited to play against him because, you know, I'm a big fan of his. I like Seth. And I've never thrown against him in singles. And in our match, he went up 2-0 on me in a race to 3. And then some idiot pulls the fire alarm. So we're in the middle of our match, the semifinals match, the fire alarm goes off, and we stopped, and we were just kind of like, should we keep throwing? And we were like, yeah, let's give it a second. So we just, you know, hung out for like 5 or 10 minutes. And it was actually in the middle of my throw. I threw one dart, and like while the dart was in the air was when the alarm went off. So we stopped like in the middle. I had 2 darts in my hand. So we took a little break. After, like I said, 5 or 10 minutes, we were just like, well, let's just keep going because all the other matches were going. It's like, well, we're not going to sit here forever. So we kept going, and I was able to come back and win the next 3 to get a 3-2 win. And it was really funny because going into this weekend, I talked about how my last 2 cricket events, I hit a big 6-bull hit to take advantage late in the game. And that's what happened, but reversed this time. So there was one of the legs that I was doing really well, and I had a pretty good lead on him. And Seth goes up to the board, and in my mind, I'm thinking like, all right, odds are pretty good right now because he needs at least 6 bulls to like do some damage. So I'm thinking my odds are pretty good. He hits that first bull. I'm like, all right, well, still got 2 more darts. Ooh, the second dart is in the bull too. And then he smokes the third in the double bull and hits a 6-bull shot. And that just changed the game because I had to change my strategy moving forward because I was just ready to, you know, close and move on and hopefully win it. But after that, now it's like, oh, shoot. Now I got to change my strategy. I got to go get some more points before I can start closing. So that was just a huge shot. And he just continued to destroy the bullseye. I wish I looked at the stats before coming on here, but he was just hitting so many bullseyes. And yeah, and it was just interesting because usually I'm the one that's hitting a lot of bullseyes at the end of the game. So having that done reverse was just really interesting, and I didn't like it. But yeah, it was a fun match, and then that brought me into the finals against Danny. And Danny just took it to me. He threw a 4.6 and just destroyed me. He beat me 4-0. And in the pro cricket singles, Danny beat Gates, I think 6-0 in the finals. So Danny, for the weekend in the cricket finals, was 6-0 between me and Leonard. So Danny was just absolutely on fire in those crickets. And it was so hard to play against him because his strategy was so interesting. I've never seen him play cricket before. And he was doing some unorthodox stuff like closing my numbers while I had a point lead on him. So it's like, pressure was on him to get more points than me and then try to back close, but he reversed the pressure on me by making me think, like, should I close his number and try to keep this point lead, or do I go to the next number? And I mean, he threw a 4-6, so pretty much every time he did that, he was hitting it and putting that reverse pressure on me. So it was such an interesting match, and yeah, he just destroyed me. But it was fun, you know, I'll take any opportunity to play guys like Danny and stuff. So yeah, he whoops me in the singles cricket. But I mean, I was so happy with the 2nd place finish because with the amount of talent that was in that dart hall, just making the finals, I felt like on top of the world. You know, oh gosh, I could just sit here and list all the names that were there. So just the fact that I made the finals, you know, that was one of my biggest accomplishments, and I didn't even win. So I was just happy about that, and I felt, you know, pretty good because right after that was the doubles cricket. So I just came off a 2nd place singles. Now me and Trevor are going into the doubles, and since I made the finals, we were behind in the bracket, and I love when that happens because there's basically no waiting. You're gonna play because you got to catch up. So we were able to hold on to that momentum, and we got to the top 8. And who did we meet in the top 8? Gary Mawson, the guy that beat me in the cricket pro shoot, and then Danny Lauby, the guy that just whooped me 4-0 on the finals. So we played the 2 guys that beat me in cricket that weekend, and it was a competitive match. Me and Trevor missed a couple darts that really would have changed the game. You know, cricket, I mean, 501's the same way, but cricket, you know, if you just miss 1 dart, like, it really changes the game. And we just had some of those situations where we just needed 1 dart and we would whiff, and then, you know, just downhill from there. If we could have hit those darts, you know, it would have been a more competitive game. But hey, we missed a couple of those darts, and that's what happens, especially when you're playing against guys like Gary Mawson and Danny Lauby, the cricket pro shoot champion and the singles cricket champion. But yeah, guys, so that was pretty much the weekend. It was awesome. I also got to meet a lot of, people that watch Bullshot Darts videos. That was probably my favorite part of the weekend because, I see all the comments and stuff, but it's different because I don't know the faces. I don't know you guys personally. And, sometimes people don't have their names on their screen name. So it's like, I don't even know. So getting out to these tournaments and meeting you guys, is just awesome. And I love hearing stories. Multiple times this last weekend, people are coming, hey man, I love your videos. I implemented, this into my darts game and I've been throwing a lot better. Or, I implemented this and then I won a tournament. And that just makes me so happy because, that's why I do this. I just love making videos and, helping players get better, help give players confidence to go out and throw more and stuff. So just knowing that and meeting you guys is just absolutely incredible. I cannot say thank you enough for all the support that you guys give Bullshot Darts. So thank you so much. It was awesome meeting all of you guys. Let's get in one more throw because this video is becoming a wrap right here. Ugh. I do have a tournament in Chicago tomorrow. The Dart Player Chicago is kicking back up with Event 1, so excited about that. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Click one of the videos that popped up over here. Subscribe if you're new, drop the video a thumbs up, bullshotdarts.com. I guess that's all, guys. I will see you on the next one, and shoot well.